Think you're an introvert just because you like staying home? Or an extrovert just because you enjoy a party? The truth is, most people don't fit neatly into one box. Today, we'll uncover the hidden traits that reveal if you're truly an introvert, an extrovert, or something in between. An ambivert. Introverts aren't just shy people. That's one of the biggest myths out there. The real difference has nothing to do with being scared of talking. It's about energy. Introverts recharge by spending time alone. That's the fuel source. Think of it like a phone battery. Extroverts plug into social gatherings to recharge, while introverts, we plug into silence, books, or just staring at the ceiling while daydreaming. It's not that introverts dislike people, it's that people are like apps running in the background. Fun to use, but they drain the battery if they're left open too long. So how do you know if you're an introvert? Here are a few signs that might sound familiar. You prefer deep conversations over small talk. If someone asks, "How's the weather?" you'll politely answer. But inside you're wishing they'd ask about your latest project, your favorite book, or your theories about life. You notice details that others miss. Introverts are natural observers. You might pick up on a friend's slight change in mood before anyone else does. Or maybe you notice how a room feels before the conversation even starts. You need alone time after social events. Imagine going to a party. While extroverts leave buzzing with energy, introverts often leave thinking, "That was fun, but now I need 2 hours of silence and maybe a snack." But here's the important part. Being introverted doesn't mean you're antisocial or awkward. It means you're selective with your energy. Extroverts might spread their social energy wide, while introverts often go deep. That's why introverts usually have a smaller circle of close friends instead of a giant crowd of acquaintances. And let's talk about creativity. Introverts thrive in solitude because solitude allows space for imagination. Many writers, artists, and innovators are introverts. Why? Because those quiet hours give their ideas room to grow. If extroverts are fueled by external sparks, like conversation and crowds, introverts are fueled by internal sparks, the kind that come when the world is still. There's also the myth that introverts don't like speaking in public. That's not true. Many introverts are powerful speakers. They just don't want to make small talk afterward. The difference is, they prepare deeply, practice quietly, and deliver with focus. For an introvert, the stage is a place of clarity, not chaos. So if you find yourself drained after too much socializing, craving alone time, and getting your best ideas when you're quiet, chances are you lean introvert. And that's not a weakness, it's actually a strength. That ability to think deeply, focus, and conserve energy often leads to better problem solving, stronger bonds, and creative breakthroughs. Remember, being introverted doesn't mean you live in isolation. It means you know the value of stillness. And in a noisy world, that can be a powerful gift. If introverts are like batteries that recharge in quiet, extroverts are solar panels. They light up in the presence of people. For extroverts, energy doesn't come from sitting alone in a quiet room. In fact, that can feel draining. They gain energy by being around others, through conversations, group activities, and lively environments. Here are some clear signs you might be an extrovert. You feel alive in crowds, parties, concerts, or even a bustling office. These environments give you a boost instead of wearing you out. You think out loud. Instead of sitting silently with ideas, you talk them through. Extroverts process by speaking, which is why they often dominate group discussions. You're quick to connect. Starting conversations with strangers doesn't scare you. It excites you. Making small talk feels natural, even fun. Extroverts thrive when there's stimulation, noise, activity, and interaction. Where an introvert might see a busy cafe as overwhelming, an extrovert might see it as inspiring. But here's where things get interesting. Extroverts aren't just about endless talking or craving attention. At their core, extroverts are energized by sharing experiences. They enjoy the exchange of energy, the back and forth that happens when people connect. Another key trait? Extroverts are more likely to jump into action. While introverts may sit back and analyze, extroverts often prefer to act first and adjust later. This can make them natural leaders in high-energy situations or the first to suggest, "Let's try it and see what happens." That doesn't mean extroverts are reckless, it means their comfort zone leans toward momentum and interaction. They're often seen as approachable, engaging, and magnetic. Of course, extroverts also face challenges. They can struggle with being alone, sometimes mistaking solitude for boredom or rejection. Without enough social interaction, they may feel restless or unfocused. So if you notice you're at your best when surrounded by people, thrive on constant communication, and rarely feel peopled out, you probably lean extrovert. And just like introverts, this isn't better or worse, it's simply a different way of moving through the world. Extroverts bring energy, enthusiasm, and momentum to the table. In the same way, introverts provide depth, extroverts provide spark. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Ambiverts. If introverts are batteries and extroverts are solar panels, then ambiverts are like hybrid cars. They can switch energy sources depending on the situation. An ambivert doesn't fully identify as either extreme. Instead, they move between introversion and extroversion based on their environment, mood, or needs. Here are some telltale signs you might be an ambivert. You enjoy people, but only for so long. You love a good social gathering, but after a few hours, you feel the urge to retreat and recharge. You can adapt. In some situations, you're the life of the party, cracking jokes and keeping conversations flowing. In others, you'd rather listen quietly and observe. You balance talking and listening. Extroverts may dominate conversations, while introverts may hold back. Ambiverts naturally flow between the two, speaking up when needed and stepping back when it's someone else's turn. You're comfortable alone, but not for too long. Solitude feels nice, but only in moderation. Too much isolation leaves you restless, while too much social time leaves you drained. In many ways, ambiverts have the best of both worlds. They're flexible. They can thrive in team environments, but they're also capable of handling solo work with focus. They can network with ease, but also enjoy deep, one-on-one conversations. Psychologists suggest that a large percentage of people actually fall into this middle ground. In fact, you might be an ambivert without realizing it simply because your personality flexes depending on the context. For example, at work, you might speak up in meetings like an extrovert, but crave quiet evenings at home like an introvert. With close friends, you might be talkative and animated, but with strangers, you lean more reserved. Ambiverts can be powerful communicators because they understand both ends of the spectrum. They know what it's like to need space, and they also know what it's like to crave connection. That makes them adaptable, empathetic, and versatile. But of course, ambiverts face challenges too. They can feel stuck in the middle, sometimes unsure if they want to go out or stay in. It's not unusual for an ambivert to RSVP yes to an event, and then wrestle with the decision when the day arrives. The beauty of being an ambivert is balance. You're not tied to one side. You can lean introverted when you need peace and extroverted when you need connection. And in today's world, that adaptability is a real superpower. So, are you an introvert, extrovert, or ambivert? The truth is, most people don't fit perfectly into one box. Introverts bring depth, extroverts bring energy, and ambiverts balance both. The real secret isn't about labeling yourself. It's about understanding how you operate and using that knowledge to live better. When you know whether you recharge in solitude or connection, you can structure your life in a way that protects your energy and maximizes your strengths. But here's something worth thinking about. Personality is more flexible than we think. What if your dominant type isn't fixed forever? What if life experiences, choices, or even your mindset could shift you from introvert to ambivert, or from extrovert to introvert? That possibility changes everything. It means understanding yourself isn't just a momentary discovery. It's a lifelong journey. And that journey might lead to something surprising. Something that could completely reshape how you connect with the world and yourself. So, the real question isn't which type you are. The real question is, how could you use the strengths of every type to become your best self?